Well, yeah, as I said, I'm Michael Vinas, V as in Victor, I-N-A-S. I've been doing spoken word for a while now. But, first off, like, much love to APSA for putting up FTS every single year and killing it every single year, so shout out to them. Thanks for the dedication. Anyways, I got 2 poems for y'all. Y'all ready? Yeah? Alright. Cool. Nothing's changed. I could still write my own stories, still recite my old stories, talk about bold allegories. Maybe add a metaphorical joke and deliver with a poetic flow, man, I feel wonderful. But I ain't one to fall, 1 term is 4 years, and they still think they gonna build that wall. Election is over and now Trump taking his dump on us all. Look, I'm starting to feel jaded. That's all I'm saying. People love those 9 G's, but they still ain't super sane. State of the Union, all Christians, so I know that they praying. State of the Union, all white, so I know that they praying. On colors, call that all white. I know they are Republican, call that all right. See, if Kodak was Caucasian, he'd be Kodak all white. And as for me, I know I'm doing all right, but please don't call me Kendrick, and I know I'm not Lamar. Owe them overdoses, but they ain't smoking no cigars. Bars. I'm just playing this, only knowledge is no rights to be wrong, no rights, only wrongs. When it's all right to be wrong, call that a death sentence. I'm still writing what's going on, there's still a death every sentence, nothing's changed. I once heard that we are living in space age times, but there are still too many of us thinking with these stone age minds. All I hear now is open up your third eye, stay woke or stay blind. What's going on ain't justified, but how is the truth so hard to find? I am the knowledge preacher, passive speaker, profound teacher. People praising sacred sites, people craving equal rights, but people stay in political fights. People speak lies to seek power. People don't die with the innocence in these roses and flowers. I'd rather have a government decentralization and a larger constellation of these stars. They say I'm not 21 savage enough, because I still got this heart. I say be preaching knowledge, not bars. I say impeach this orange, he can be your president, not ours. Nothing's changed. Look, I hail from the plains of Manila. My last name sounds like the most Spanish of our villas. I was painted as a villain in American history, and it seems like my own culture even seemed to forget me. Nothing's changed, and as for that, you see, I'm morbidly ashamed. Still talking about these civil rights, but no one's acting civil right more. Isn't it so simple, right? When he chooses pipelines over people who are still fighting for their life. Look, all these peace signs, but still no peace in our time. Just read between the lines, all these words written in blood, still pretending that we're fine. I'm my own foundation, my own cornerstone to today's private worship, because these days, people seeing the GDP as their own GOD. Now you tell me, what's wrong with society? We've got innocent children dying, issues underlying, rebels defying, yes men complying, and honest politicians lying. Look, I'm just trying to free the people. Let them recognize us as equals. Please notice me, senpai. I'm just back at the sequel. Now you realize that the lies can be deceitful. Look for compromise and you'll find the face of evil. I heard they started calling refugees illegal. Now that's ironic. Consider the fact that even way back it was never red, white, and blue, just more like white, and no room for you. What we have now is brand recognition, the one true form of man-made division. They pretend that we're pretentious because the truth leaves them defenseless. I refuse to be confused with this delusion that they use. Society's expectation is a routine segregation and deterioration of our great nation, and I guess it makes sense to call it the American dream. You gotta be asleep to believe it. But you know we can fix that. Hopefully what we do will make it stay. Leaving our ideals in this country stained. I just hope that in the end we realize we are the change. Change the pace from like what I usually perform. It's not like all so social justice and all that. But hopefully y'all enjoy it. Hopefully y'all enjoyed the first one too, but yeah. I remember with her, as these days turn into nights, to the nights turn into days, weeks turn into months, and time had a funny little way of turning us into silence. But it wasn't always that way. See, I remember that when she spoke, angels would take time out of eternity to listen. I remember how when I looked at her, I didn't see cliches, I didn't see glistening stars. I felt exploding supernovas. These raging embers and erupting fires became synonymous with the way that her eyes met mine. And every time she did look at me, time stood still. She made it feel like the only problems I had were wondering why the fuck this moment couldn't last forever. And every time I remember falling for her all over again. I remember the little imperfections in her smile, so much so that I know for a fact that J. Cole was rapping about her crooked smile and Chip Skylark was singing all about his shiny teeth in me. I remember the first time that I knew it would be the last time. But see, this turned into a time where seconds felt like years. This turned into a time where minds couldn't simply comprehend how I got a shot with you. This turned into a time where shooting your shot meant putting it all on the line, so, which is to say that I decided to throw on a fresh Kobe jersey and shoot my shot. But after you left, for the first time in a long time, Marvin's room started to feel a hell of a lot like my room. For the first time in a long time, it was quiet. So after all these people telling me that a picture is worth 1,000 words will tell me, what can I get with silence? They say that home is where the heart is, but how come she isn't with me? I'm always told that Disneyland is the happiest place on earth. I guess I've never been in your arms. Well, look, I remember the 3 a.m. talks as our nights turned into day. I remember the 3 a.m. thoughts as our connection started to fade. And I still remember how looking at you got me feeling some type of way, girl. I mean, shit. You look so good as my lock screen. You, all the right dimensions, me coming at you with the right intentions, but that still wasn't enough. See, I was finding myself with you. I should have been finding myself for you. They said that, wait, I mean, and I'll admit it, I don't much like green tea, but I know that we're a matcha made in heaven. And look, I still need a Band-Aid. See, I scraped my knee falling for you, and I know that time heals all wounds, but this time isn't enough. I stopped going to the gym once I realized we could never work out. I'm told that I ain't never been in love. Like if I think about you, I'm thinking about lust, but the truth is, if I think about you, I'm thinking about us, I'm thinking about trust, girl. Damn, you're trash. So let me take you out. And after all of this, I have to remind myself that maybe I loved you too much. Or maybe too much was just not enough. And sometimes I have to remind myself that the silence you left me with was silver, but our moments together were golden. Thank you.